So let's talk about pelvises and pelvic shapes. The ones of you who saw the little grid I sent on the Facebook page today saw that we have 4 different basic shapes, they say, and nowadays they're kind of mixed. Both men and women come in these shapes. So when we measure them, when we put people on a buck, we try to make the measure when we have stabilized them, when they're sitting as wide as they should to be stable, and then we take this measure. So if we look at the ones on the left here, they're pretty big imprints, as you can see. But you also see that the right seat bone very often either is a little bit further back or further out. And this we need to do more research to figure out why is this happening? Why do we have this style? And then if you look at the ones that have deeper imprints that are second most to the left, then you see that they're very wide. The top one is really wide. And the other one that's under is wider in the front. So you have a wide symphysis on that rider. But it means to many people that does have a wide symphysis, they will need to have more support on their sides in the front. If the saddle is too sharp, too narrow, they will feel imbalanced and they will be, hanging off their pubic bone. And since the body doesn't want that, they will want to roll back. So as soon as you are hitting the pubic area and it's hurting you, you will tend to want to roll back. And the same thing also if you are tilted forward. Let's say that you have one of these bigger pelvises that's up on the left side, and your seat is a bit rounded and a bit too short. That will actually push you forward onto your pubic area. Another thing that will push you onto the pubic area is if you look at some of the prints that are to the far right. They are really, really wide. One of them only has printing on the left side. So this means that we have somebody who's really off. The pelvis, they cannot find the right seat bone. We will send this person to some kind of physio or osteopath to work with the ligaments in their pelvis so that they can actually get both seat bones onto there, and normally that works. You will also see sides here where it's mostly printing on the right side and almost nothing on the left side. And this is the same thing. The pelvis has adjusted to how they use it, or it has adjusted to a trauma. And you need help with working with the release and with the ligaments and then the training to get this right. So a pelvis can actually be from about 5-6 centimeters long to 14-15 centimeters long. And we cannot see it on the outside. You can think that this is the smallest, skinniest little person I've seen, and they will have a really wide, big pelvis. Or you will meet, like we did, a very tall person who thinks that they're too big for the horse, and you find that their pelvis is only 6 centimeters wide and 6 centimeters long. And they need like a 16.5-inch seat. And you really cannot tell until you have measured. And this is why it's so difficult. When it comes to the wide ones, and the ones we call wide are the ones where you have a bigger distance between the seat bones than the distance up between the seat bones to the pubic bone. So that the distance is much wider than it is long. They have to balance on a very short area. And because they're really wide, normally if the saddles are a little bit too narrow for them, they have a very hard time finding any balance at all. And they will need to ride with their knees forward to find some kind of support. So people will find ways to deal with whatever their problem is. When you find the ones that are kind of equal-sided 9 by 9 centimeters. They can normally fit into very many saddles. They're quite easy to fit unless they have a very tricky angle of their thigh bones. So the thigh bones is the next one.